They thought she was just a nurse, but she could sense death before it arrived. Grace Miller never spoke much, yet her eyes carried a weight no one understood. Every night shift felt like stepping into another world, where silence was loud and shadows felt alive. She didn't know how she felt it, but she knew when a heartbeat was about to stop. It always started with a shiver down her spine, like ice touching her bones. She would look into a patient's eyes and feel something dark staring back. Not pain, not fear, but a silent goodbye. Moments later, the monitor would flatline every single time. The other doctors called her lucky, but her luck felt like a curse. Nurses asked her, "How do you know before anyone else?" She never had an answer because even she feared it. The truth was, she didn't predict death, she felt it. One night, an old man held her hand and asked, "Will I survive until morning?" She felt that shiver again, but lied with a gentle smile. His eyes still searched hers, hoping for hope. At 2:13 a.m., he took his last breath exactly when her heart had warned her. Grace tried avoiding eye contact afterward, hoping to escape whatever haunted her. But grief followed her like a shadow she couldn't leave behind. Patients stopped calling her nurse and whispered another name, Harbinger. Some believed she had a gift. Others believed it was a warning. One evening during her shift, she saw a woman about to be discharged. The tests were clear, the reports were perfect, and the doctors were confident. But when Grace looked into her eyes, that cold shiver returned stronger than ever. Terrified, she rushed to the doctor and begged to recheck everything. The doctor hesitated but agreed. Uneasily, deep down, he trusted her instincts. Minutes later, the woman started choking and collapsed unexpectedly. If Grace hadn't warned them, she would have died right before leaving. That day, everyone saw her differently, not as a nurse, but a silent guardian. But even guardians carry pain too heavy to bear alone. She saved lives, yet never saved her own peace. The guilt buried her every night while the world slept peacefully. The hospital lights flickered, almost like they knew her secret. Days passed, and her gift grew stronger and darker. She began sensing death not just in patients, but in reflections and dreams. Sometimes she wondered if death was no longer something outside, but something slowly entering her eyes too. And one night, her fear finally became real. During a routine check, Grace saw her own reflection in the mirror. She froze, because this time the shiver didn't warn her about someone else. It warned her about herself, and for the first time in her life, she felt truly afraid. She stared deep into her own eyes and felt the goodbye she had felt in others. Cold, still, silent, like time suddenly stopped moving. She touched her pulse, hoping it was just fear. But her heart knew. Her countdown had already begun. The next morning, she arrived at the hospital earlier than usual. Not to save someone, but to write something. A confession no one had ever heard. Because it wasn't about death. It was about the cost of saving others without saving yourself. She walked to every room and checked every patient one last time. Everyone looked safe, peaceful, alive, just the way she always wanted. The staff noticed she was smiling more than ever, almost like she found peace. They didn't know it was her final night shift. As the sun rose, Grace finally closed her eyes and let silence take over. No monitor beeped, no alarms rang, and no one saw death coming, because this time, death didn't arrive at a bedside. It arrived gently, in silence, for the woman who always warned others before it came. Some people save lives. She warned them before death arrived, but never warned herself. Subscribe before the next story finds you.